Hi. And welcome to my channel. Please leave a like and subscribe. If we get 5 likes then I'll release the next part. Years later, an older and much more mature Jesse is hovering over a hot stove cooking pancakes and bacon in his new house. He hums a familiar tune, most likely from a song he heard on his car radio. Jesse hears footsteps walking up to him. And quote, "Hey, Veronica. You're finally up. I thought I was going to have to wake you." And quote, Jesse said as he smiled. Veronica has an emotionless face expression and says nothing as she sat down at the counter. And quote, "What's wrong, Ronnie?" And quote, "I'm fine, Jesse." And quote, "Are you sure, because you seemed upset. Why don't you tell me about it?" And quote, "I'm upset because we left San Heights." And quote, Veronica spoke. And quote, "Why do we have to move away anyway?" And quote, suddenly, a woman around Jesse's age walks into the kitchen. She was wearing conservative business attire. And quote, "Anyone seen my keys?" And quote, the woman then saw that Veronica was upset. And quote, "What's wrong, Veronica?" And quote, Jesse sighed. And quote, "Liz, she's still upset about the move." And quote, he explained. And quote, "Veronica, me and Jesse already explained this to you. We're moved to Philadelphia because San Heights isn't safe anymore." And quote, Liz looks saddened. And quote, "Ever since your dad died, crime have been on the rise. The criminals, especially the supervillains, have been taking over a lot of the city." And quote, she looks down to avoid Veronica glaze. And quote, "They're not afraid of the SHPD, they were afraid of Night Reaper. But now that he's gone, it's just not safe." And quote, Liz explains. Veronica frowns at the thought of her father's death and at the thought of her hometown being overrun by criminals. And quote, "They may have been afraid of Night Reaper, but they were also afraid of Black Forsaken." And quote, "We're not having this conversation again." And quote, Liz responded. And quote, "Mom, I can handle it. Tell her, Jesse." And quote, Veronica said as she looked over to Jesse. And quote, "I agree with your mother. You're not ready." And quote, Jesse said as he started to put the food on plates. And quote, "Even your father had years of training before he started his crusade against San Heights underworld." And quote, Liz looks down onto her watch. And quote, "You two are going to be late. Veronica, where is your brother?" And quote, "First of all, he's not my brother." And quote, Veronica said as she crossed her arms. And quote, "Second of all, I may have not have as much years of training as Dad did, but I was trained for 6 months before I even went out as Black Forsaken, and I still continued my training even after Dad's death." And quote, "That you did, and now I'm heavily regretting letting Beatrix train you." And quote, Liz said as she took a second look at her watch. And quote, "Alistair," and quote, she called out. And quote, "Coming." And quote, Alistair said as he walked down the stairs. And quote, "Could you stop yelling?" And quote, "Well, could you stop sleeping in late, so you and Veronica could be in school on time?" And quote, Liz retorted. And quote, "And as for you, Veronica, next time you say first of all to me, you're going to regret it." And quote, "Jesse, what's wrong with them?" And what? Alistair asked as he took a seat at the counter. And what? Veronica is still upset about the move, and feels like she could handle crime in San Heights. And what? Jesse explained as he set food down in front of Veronica and Alistair. And what? Yeah. Well, I'm with her. And what? Alistair said as he started to eat. And what? I may have not received as much training with Nathan as Veronica did, but I was trained Beatrix, the woman who trained Nathan. And I'm far better at fighting from when Nathan found me. And what? And what? Look kids, I just want to give you two a nice, normal, boring life. And I forbade any kind of crime fighting as long as the both of you live under this roof. And what? Veronica raised her hand up and showed her wrist, which had a tattoo of the symbol Night Reaper War. And what? I know this might not mean anything to you, but it does to me. And like it or not, when the time comes I need to be ready. And what? Liz sighed. And what? I got to get to work. We'll talk about this when I get back. And what? She said sternly. And what? I love the both of you. Bye. And what? Liz looks over to Jesse. And what? Bye Jesse, I'll see you later. And what? Liz then leaves the kitchen as well as the house. Jesse sighed at the tension in the room. And what? Hurry up guys, school start soon. And after school I'll need help at the shop. And what? He said as he sat down. And what? But for real though, Liz just wants what's best for you. And what? And what? Where have I heard that before? And what? Veronica and Alistair spoke in unison. They shot each other a look. It was a sort of glare. Then they went back to eating. As Veronica ate, her mind started wandering, thinking about her past. Veronica started to remember when she was a kid and she spent time in an orphanage. A younger Veronica was sitting across from the orphanage director. She was sent to her office because she got in trouble. And what? I'm very disappointed in you, Ms. Cruz. And what? The orphanage director said in a disappointed tone. And what? How many times do I have to tell you, we do not accept rough housing of any kind. Besides, it isn't ladylike. And what? And what? I didn't do anything wrong. We were just playing soccer. Mac was trash talking and I accidentally kicked the ball at him a little too hard. And what? Veronica said as she slumped back onto the chair. And what? A little too hard. And what? The orphanage director asked. And what? Ms. Cruz, you were seen kicking the ball hard at Mr. Ray's face, which broke his nose and bruised his eye. Then you laughed and started to mock him for it. And what? And what? You mean they snitched? And what? Veronica asked angrily. And what? It's not about who snitched or not. It's about your attitude. And what? Responded the orphanage director. And what? Ms. Cruz, your attitude is the main reason you can't get adopted. And what? Veronica frowned. And what? Every time someone come to adopt a child, I ask them why not adopt this one Hispanic girl. And they say no, because you're too rousy. And what? The orphanage director sighed. And what? Look, if you want to get adopted, I highly suggest you change that attitude. I only want what's best for you. And what? Later that night, Veronica sneaked out of the orphanage. She stood at the sidewalk staring at the orphanage as tears rolled down her eyes. She wondered whether or not she should run away or not. It Wouldn't matter either if she stayed or not, they wouldn't care anyway. Children living on the streets of San Heights wasn't an usual thing. Sadly, it was more common in the poverty-ridden parts of the city. But whether she ran away or not didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Because life had other plans, and those plans came in the form of a black bag being put over Veronica's head. Veronica struggled to break free as two men put her in the back of a van. Back in present-day Veronica and Alistair slowly walks towards a school, Winchester High to be precise. Veronica clung onto her backpack as hard as could, as she felt waves of nerves flowing over her. Alistair looked at her confusingly. "And what? Are you nervous? And what?" Alistair asked mockingly. "And what? Wow." The future head of the clan, who fought thugs and weirdos in costumes, is nervous about her first day of school. "And what? And what? Thugs and weirdos in costumes I can handle, but high school is a whole different matter." "And what?" Veronica responded. "And what?" "Hey, Veronica." "Alistair." "And what?" A female voice called out from behind them. Veronica and Alistair turned around to see two girls around Veronica's age walking towards them. "And what? There you guys are." "And what? And what?" "Hey, Bishop." "And what?" Veronica said. "And what? Sup, Bis." "And what?" Alistair then focused his eyes to the dark-skinned girl beside Bishop. "And what? And what's your name, beautiful? And what?" he asked as he stuck his hand out for them to shake. "And what?" "Talia. Talia Torres." "And what?" she said as she shook Alistair's hand. Alistair then yelped in pain as he felt the strength of Talia's grip. She laughed. "And what? Sorry, I have mentioned I'm not your ordinary muggle." "And what?" Veronica's eyes widen. "And what? You have powers? And what?" she asked quietly, so nobody could hear them. Talia and Bishop chuckled. "And what? Let me guess. Super strength is one of them." "And what?" Alistair spoke as he checked his hand for damage. "And what? I should had mentioned that Talia here is Particle's foster daughter. She knows about us." "And what?" Bishop explained. "And what? Niece. So, how did you get your powers?" "And what?" asked Veronica. "And what? Well, long story short, I got hit with energy from infusion reactor and it somehow gave me powers." "And what?" Talia explained. "And what? Lily is still trying to figure out how I got them though." "And what?" Suddenly, the teens could hear the school bell ring. "And what? We're going to be late for class." "And what?" Bishop exclaimed. "And what?" Alistair, Talia is going to show you around. Veronica, you're with me. "And what?" she said as the teens walked toward the school. While Veronica and Alistair went about their day of schooling in Winchester High, Jesse is in his place of business setting up. Their boxes scatter throughout the building. Jesse is standing by a workbench. A few boxes are laying on top of it. As Jesse goes through the box, he sees an old picture of himself and Nathan standing in front of a car Jesse designed. He called it the Nightmobile. Jesse smiled as he remembered the past. "And what? You open? And what?" a male voice said to Jesse. Jesse turned around to see Warren, the former spirit man. "And what? For an old friend always. I'm glad to see you, Warren." "And what?" Jesse said, as he gave a chuckle. "And what? How's the unpacking going?" "And what?" asked Warren. "And what?" if I continue to unpack for the rest of the day, put all my tools in the right place, and if Veronica and Alistair helps me after school, I should have the repair shop up and running by tomorrow. And quat. By the way, Jessie, I been meaning to ask you, why open a repair shop and move here of all places with Liz and the kids when Nathan left you money in his will? And quat. Ha. And quat. Jessie laughed. And quat. How about I tell you over some beers? I kept them in back room. And quat. I like that idea. And quat. Jessie then guided Warren to the back room. Inside the back room was litter with boxes. Much like the front of the repair shop. There's an open big box laying in the center of the room. There was also a cooler stuck in between two boxes. Jessie walked to the cooler, while Warren went to check out the big box. Inside the big box was Night Reaper's suit along with his utility belt. And quat. Wait, is this Nathan's suit? And quat. Warren asked. And quat. Yeah. When I left San Heights, I brought a lot of Night Reaper's technology with me. It brings back a lot of memories. And quat. Jessie said as he walked to Warren with 2 beers in his hands. And quat. I know the feeling. I still have some flies from our Liberty Crusaders days. And quat. Jessie hands one of the beers over to Warren. And quat. Here you go. And quat. Thanks. And quat. They then begin to drink their beer. And quat. As for your question, I'm opening a repair shop because fixing and making things is the only thing I'm good at. And the reason I moved here is because I thought it might be good to reconnect with some old friends. Luckily, Liz agreed to it. And quat. Jessie then started to think about Nathan. And quat. Besides, I don't really like to use the money Nathan left unless I spend it on Veronica. I wasn't friends with him for his money after all. And for why I moved out here with Liz and the kids, is because I made promise to Nathan. And quat. Jessie said as he looks down to his beer. And quat. He made me promise if anything ever happened to him I would take care of his family, and that's something I intend to do. And quat. That's honorable, Jessie. And quat. Warren said. Jessie looks back at Warren again. And quat. And thanks again for having Bishop show the kids around. And quat. No problem. I tried to get Mark to help as well, but he's been busy lately. You know, he still haven't figured out which college he wants to go to. And quat. Said Warren. And quat. But it's a good thing Bishop got Talia to help her. And quat. Talia? And quat. Asked Jessie. And quat. Yeah. Talia. She, Lily's foster daughter. And quat. Warren said nervously. And quat. I should have told you the other day, but Lily also lives here. And quat. It'll be good to see her again. I haven't seen her since, you know. And quat. Jessie said. He then puts a somber look on his face. And quat. Do you ever think about that day? About Silverview and the 5 deaths? And quat. All the time. I think about Helena and Jason whenever I look at Mark. Then I remember the promise I made her. And quat. It's crazy what happened after. Have you seen or heard from anyone beside Lily? And quat. Asked Jessie. And quat. No. I haven't heard from Santiago nor Kate in years, although I Heard she has a show in town in a couple of days. And I haven't seen or heard from Donna since we disbanded. I sometimes go to the old headquarters to see if she'll be at the original Liberty Crusaders Memorial, but she never is. And quote, I remember that day, she wasn't doing too good. I hope she's doing okay. End quote. Jesse then entered a flashback of the day the Liberty Crusaders disbanded. He was in the Liberty Citadel, the headquarters of the Liberty Crusaders. Jesse walked into the meeting room. Particle and Psycho are sitting at their reserved seats. They turned to Jesse and looked surprised to see him. And quote, Jesse, what are you doing here? End quote. Particle said as she stood up to greet him. And quote, I heard there's a team meeting, I thought I should come. End quote. Jesse answered. Psycho sighed. And quote, oh my god, he still doesn't get the hint. End quote. She said in annoyance. And quote, get what hint? End quote. Jesse asked. And quote, Jesse, I think this meeting is just for members only. And well, sidekicks aren't members. End quote. End quote. It's okay. Lily. End quote. Warren said as he entered the room. And quote, I thought both non-members and members should be in this meeting. End quote. End quote. Spirit man. End quote. Jesse exclaimed. And quote, Jesse, we're in private. You can call us by our real names. End quote. Warren commanded. And quote, where's Audrey? End quote. Asked Particle. And quote, Audrey's watching Bishop and Mark. She refuses to leave their side right now. End quote. Warren said. And quote, but anyway, the reason I called this meeting is because I think we should disband the Liberty Crusaders. End quote. End quote. What? End quote. Jesse cried. End quote. Warren, you can't be serious. Even if it's because the 5 deaths beat us, we can't give up. We're symbols of hope. End quote. Particle said. End quote. Hope? The only hope I had for the Liberty Crusaders died when my sister and brother-in-law did. End quote. He has a serious look on his face. And quote, I can't be spirit man. I have my daughter and nephew to look after. I'm sure you all have people you want to protect. End quote. End quote. Warren, if I may. The order won't stop until they have complete control over the world, and with the destruction of Silverview they will take back control over cities Gargoyle took from them. End quote. Jesse said. And quote, we have to stop them before it's too late. End quote. Psycho started to laugh uncontrollable. And quote, I'm sorry. End quote. She spoke. And quote, what's so funny? Donna? End quote. Asked Warren. And quote, it's just I heard Jesse Little speech before. It was when I fought in World War II, way before you all were born, when the original Liberty Crusaders were made. End quote. She then put on a saddened smile as she remembered the past. And quote, they would tell us that if we don't stop the Nazis, their hate would spread all over the world. That motivated us, of course, given us a drive to save the world. End quote. Psycho then had a deadpan expression on her face. And quote, but times were different then. I was a woman, and I was colored. I was also not exactly popular, but I pushed through for the sake of saving the world. End quote. She spoke. And quote, well, my fellow Crusaders, my friends died trying to save the world. We won the war, but the Nazis' hate spread all over the world anyway. Because it was always there. And Psycho stands up from her seat. And Silverview was the last straw. I and my alters will not see any more of our friends die. And guys, even if we disband the Liberty Crusaders, the order will stop at nothing. Until they kill us. They will come for us and our family. And Particle yelled, and we'll just have to protect our own. And Warren said, and all in favor for disbanding the Liberty Crusaders? Raise your hands. And Warren and Donna raised their hands. And all oppose. And Jesse and Particle raised their hands. And it's 2-2, it's a tie. And Jesse said, and no, it's not. It's 2-1. Sidekicks don't get to vote. And Warren explained, and I guess it's official. The Liberty Crusaders are no more. And Psycho said as she left the room. And take care of yourselves. And Warren said as proceeded to leave the room as well. Particle and Jesse turned to each other. And I'm sorry, Jesse, but it's over. And she then exits the room, leaving Jesse all alone. The flashback ends when Jesse gets pulled back into reality. And Jesse, are you okay? And asked Warren. And what? And you kind of spaced out for a moment there. And Warren explained. And are you okay? And yeah, I'm fine. And at Winchester High, Veronica is in her art class. The teacher Ms. Richards was giving a lecture about color theory. Veronica was sitting next to a boy around her age. She looks at the boy's sketchbook. The boy was sketching Ms. Richards as she gave her lecture. And wow, you're good. And Veronica complimented. And thanks. I'm James Knight. And the boy introduced himself. And I'm Veronica Campbell. And Veronica said as she introduced herself. And you're new here, right? And asked James. And yeah, new to this school and town. I'm originally from San Heights. And welcome to the school. I hope you have a good time here. And thanks. So, do you like art class? And Veronica asked. And yeah, it's my favorite class. The teacher Ms. Richards is cool. And I might be a good artist. And James looks at another boy sitting across of the classroom. And but my friend Dylan is an amazing artist. I'll introduce you to him if you want. And sure. And Veronica said. The bell rings. The students got up from their tables and started to head out of class. Jamie and Veronica walk over to Dylan, who is packing his stuff up. And hey, Dylan, this is Veronica Campbell. And Jamie turns to Veronica. And Veronica, this is Dylan Rivera. And Dylan puts his book bag around his shoulder. On his book bag is tag of the psychology symbol. And hi. And Dylan said as he walked away from them. And what was that about? And asked Veronica. And I'm sorry about my friend's behavior. He's just been going through a tough time lately. And quat. It's alright, I'll see you around, Jamie. And quat. Veronica said as she left the classroom. Jamie puts his hand on his head. He groans from the headache he is getting. And quat. My head is killing me. And quat. On Alistair's side of things, he was in chemistry class. The teacher, Mr. Nelson, had everyone split into pairs. Alistair scanned the room to see if there was anyone else who didn't have a partner. He spots a boy his age sitting alone at an table. The boy didn't seem bother about not having a partner. Alistair gave a sly smile as he started to walk towards him. And quat. Yo, dog, you want to be partners? And quat. Asked Alistair. And quat. You want to be partners with me? And quat. There's nobody else to partners with. And quat. Alistair said. And quat. By the by, I'm Alistair Hill. And quat. Jamie Liam. And quat. The boy introduced himself. Alistair felt something was off with Jamie. The whole conversation so far felt weird to him. The whole conversation, Jamie never made eye contact with Alistair once, and he spoke in a monotone voice. And quat. So, do you know what to do? And quat. Asked Alistair. And quat. We're just doing a simple experiment. If you want to make yourself useful, then you can mix those two chemicals in front of you. And quat. Jamie said as he started the experiment. And quat. Sure thing, man. And quat. Alistair then started to perform the task. And quat. I'm new here, by the way. And quat. In that case, I would like to welcome you to Winchester. And quat. Hey, if you don't mind me asking, but what's your deal, man? And quat. Alistair asked. And quat. Why were you so surprised when I asked you to be my partner? And why are you acting so weird? And quat. It's mainly because I'm autistic. And quat. Jamie said. Alistair looked ashamed. And quat. I'm sorry for saying you're acting weird. And quat. It's alright. And quat. He reassured Alistair. And quat. People think I'm weird even without the autism. They tend to stay away from me if I'm lucky enough not to get their harassment. They think badly of me and bully me because of who my dad is. And quat. What, your dad some kind of douchebag? And quat. Asked Alistair. And quat. He's a criminal and a notorious one at that. And quat. Jamie explained. And quat. So, is he like the IF? And quat. Jamie paused for a second and stopped doing what he was doing. And quat. You can say that. And quat. He then continued to do the experiment. And quat. I sort of get where you're coming from. And quat. Alistair said. And quat. My old man was a criminal. He spent parts of my childhood going in and out of jail. And my mother, well, let's just say she had issues. So, do you live with your old man? And quat. No. I live with my foster mom, Yolanda Ramos. She runs a media company. And quat. Jamie explained. And quat. I live with my adopted mother Liz and adopted sister Veronica, plus a family friend named Jessie. My adopted father died a few years back. And quat. I'm sorry. And quat. Jamie said. And quat. It's fine. You know what, Jamie, I think this the start of a rocking friendship. And quat. Jamie then gave a small smile. During this, Liz begins her new job as a detective for the Philadelphia Police Department. She was given a tour of the police precinct by one of her new fellow officer. After the tour, the police officer showing Liz around show her to her desk. Her desk was conjoined with a male detective desk. And quote, "And this will be your desk," and quote, the police officer said. And quote, "And this is Detective Grant," and quote. Detective Grant stood up from his desk and puts his hand out towards Liz, so she could shake it. And quote, "Hi. You must be Elizabeth Campbell, I'm your new partner. I'm Detective Grant, but you can call me Michael," and quote, "Hi. It's nice to meet you, and only my husband. Call me Elizabeth. People just call me Liz," and quote, she said as she shook Michael's hand. And quote, "So, you're married?" and quote, Michael asked as they both took a seat at the desk. And quote, "Yes and no. I was married, but my husband Nathan Campbell died a few years back," and quote, Liz explained. And quote, "I'm sorry," and quote, he said. And quote, "Wait. Nathan Campbell? Your husband wasn't that business tycoon out of San Heights, wasn't he?" and quote, Michael asked. Liz chuckled a little. And quote, "Yes, he was. Nathan left enough money for me and the kids to be set for life, but I like working, it's fulfilling," and quote, she explained. And quote, "How about you, are you married?" and quote, "I'm sort of separated from my wife, her and our daughter live abroad. My son lives with me, he goes to Winchester High," and quote, Michael explained. And quote, "What about your kids?" and quote, "I got two, boy and a girl, both adopted. They just started their first day of school today, in fact they're going to Winchester," and quote, "Who knows, maybe they'll befriend each other," and quote, he said a little later in the school's cafeteria. Veronica and Alistair exists the lunch line with a tray of food in their hands. And quote, "Great. Now we got to find somewhere to sit," and quote, Alistair said in an annoyed tone as Veronica scanned the room for somewhere to sit. And quote, "Hey, Veronica, Alistair over here," and quote, Bishop called out the two adopted siblings spots Bishop sitting with Talia and another girl by one of the tables. They then walks to them. And quote, "Hey, guys. I like to introduce you to Amanda," and quote, Bishop said as both Veronica and Alistair sat down at the table. And quote, "Hi. I'm Veronica Campbell," and quote, she introduced herself. And quote, "I'm Alistair Hill," and quote, "Bishop and Talia told me about you too. Are you guys really Night Reaper's kid?" and quote, Amanda asked. Both Veronica and Alistair looks shocked. And quote, "Your parents were about of the Liberty Crusaders too," and quote, "Sort of. My mom was the Liberty Crusaders CFO," and quote, Amanda explained. And quote, "So, how is both your first days going?" and quote, Talia asked. And quote, "It's good. I met a couple of guys today, James Knight and Dylan Rivera," and quote, "and I met this kid named Jamie Liam," and quote, Alistair said. And quote, "If I were you, I would stay away from that Dylan Rivera. He's the biggest delinquent in town," and quote, said Bishop. And quote, "He is?" and quote, asked Veronica. And quote, "Yeah, he been in a ton of fights, been caught drinking and smoke weed multiple times. In matter of fact, he was caught selling, that landed him a couple of months in UV. And quat. Amanda explained. Alistair chuckled. And quat. Sounds like me and him are going to be good friends. And quat. So, he's a criminal, and quat, said Veronica. And quat. You have a problem with criminals, and quat, asked Talia. And quat. It's just, without criminals I probably wouldn't have met my dad. And quat, Veronica said as she started to remember her past. After she was kidnapped by those thugs, she was taken to a dark alleyway. 4 thugs surrounds a young Veronica. One of them puts a gun to Veronica's head. And quat. Sorry, kid, but the boss doesn't want any witness alive. And quat. One of the thugs said. Just before the man could pull the trigger, a knife gets thrown into his hand. And quat. Ah. And quat. The thug screamed as he dropped the gun. Veronica's eyes widen. The knife started to bleep. Then the knife explodes, causing the guy's hand and part of his arm to explode as well. Blood is pouring out. Then we see Night Reaper's smoke bombs hitting the ground. Then red smoke fills up the area. And quat. It's Night Reaper. And quat. Another one of the thugs yelled. Then the red smoke disappears. The gang members have their guns out. Veronica is no longer there. The only light is coming from the flare one of the gang members is holding. And quat. He took out the lights. And quat. One of the thugs members said as the other gang members made their way to stand in the flare's light. And quat. Everyone stays in the light. He won't be able to take us out. And quat. Then there is a crashing sound coming from the dark. Everyone points their guns at the direction of where the sound came from. And quat. Maybe one of us should go check it out. And quat. Asked one of the thugs. And quat. Are you stupid? Night Reaper is out there. And quat. Another one of the thugs retorted. And quat. I think he's right. Go check it out. And quat. One of the thugs goes to where the sound was coming from. He then bends down. He then reveals a can in his hand. And quat. It was just a can. And quat. Then the thug gets pulled into the dark by Night Reaper. And quat. Ah. And quat. He screamed. And quat. All right. No one will leave the light. Call for backup. And quat. Another one of the thugs pulls out his phone, but one of Night Reaper's knives stabs the thug. The knife has a cord attached to it. And quat. Ah. And quat. The thug screamed. He then gets dragged into the dark. And quat. Ah. Please no. And quat. The thug cried as he getting dragged completely into the dark. The last thug points his gun at the other thug direction. Suddenly, the screaming stopped. And quat. Where are you? And quat. The last thug yelled to Night Reaper. Night Reaper then appears out of the dark behind him. And quat. Here. And quat. Night Reaper whispered to the last thug. Night Reaper then stabs him in the shoulder and takes him into the dark. On a rooftop, Night Reaper approaches a young tied-up Veronica, who is struggling to break free from her bondage. And quat. It's all right. And quat. He tries to reassure her. Veronica struggles violently as Night Reaper nears her. And quat. Hey. You're going to hurt yourself. Maybe this will help. And quat. Night Reaper then turn off his voice modulator. His voice stops being discorded. And quat. Listen to my voice. You're going to be okay. And quat. Veronica stops. Struggling. Night Reaper cut the tape that bounded the girl and then takes the tape out of her mouth. And quat. Thank you. And quat. He then helps the girl to her feet. And quat. What's your name? And quat. Night Reaper asked and quat. Veronica. You're Night Reaper. I've heard about you on the news. And quat. Veronica said in awe. Night Reaper chuckled. And quat. Yeah. Don't believe everything you hear on the news, kid. Tell me where your parents live so I can drop you off. And quat. And quat. I don't have parents. They died in a car crash. The driver worked for those thugs down there. I'm guessing they wanted revenge for him going to prison. And quat. Veronica said as she frowned. And quat. Now I'm all alone. And quat. She said as a tear runs down her face. Night Reaper puts his hand on Veronica's shoulder. And quat. I know what it like to lose your parents. I lost mine at a young age myself. And it changed me. Changed me into the man I am now. And quat. He said with comfort tone in his voice. And quat. Does it get easier? And quat. Veronica asked. He's silent for a moment. And quat. Oh. Veronica, I wish I can tell you it does. But it doesn't. In fact, the pain of remember someone you lost only gets worse. And quat. Night Reaper then wipes Veronica's tear away. And quat. It makes you miss them. But that's not a bad thing. Because by missing him, you would want to remember them. By remembering him, you want to do anything to honor their memory. And quat. Veronica smiled, and for the first time in a long time Night Reaper feels happy after seeing Veronica smile. Back in present day, Veronica is pulled out of her daydream as a boy wearing a Letterman jacket. And quat. Well, if it isn't fresh meat. And quat. The boy said. Bishop scoffed and quat. Why don't you leave us alone, Patrick? And quat. She said. Patrick turned to Veronica. And quat. You're the new girl, right? What's your name? And quat. Patrick asked coyly. And quat. I'm Veronica, Veronica Campbell. And quat. And quat. Oh. Yeah, the rich girl. Must be sweet to have all those billions of dollars. I mean, so what if the old man? And quat. Patrick asked mockingly. Veronica is staring at Patrick with a death stare. And quat. Watch it, punk. And quat. And quat. Why don't you leave, you creep? And quat. Amanda commanded Patrick. Alistair then stood up from his seat. And quat. Listen to the girl, keep walking or else you better get ready to throw some hands. And quat. He said threateningly. And quat. And what are you going to do? And quat. Patrick said as he got up on Alistair's face. And quat. Street rat. And quat. Alistair then looks at Veronica. She then motions to the two guys standing behind Patrick. The two guys are wearing matching Letterman jackets. They nod in agreement. And quat. Should we stop this before this gets out of hand? And quat. Asked Amanda. Talia is smiling. And quat. Are you kidding me? I want to see what they're made of. And quat. She said. And quat. Yeah. Let's see. And quat. Bishop said, intrigued by how good of fighters they are. And quat. How about we show you boys what a good old-fashioned San Heights hello looks like? And quat. Asked Alistair. Patrick chuckled. He then threw a punch at Alistair. Alistair blocks the punch, grabbing it. He then punches Patrick in the face, breaking his nose. Blood flew out of Patrick's noise. The two guys rushes to Patrick's aid, but Veronica grabs her lunch tray and hits one of the guys in the head, causing him to fall to the ground. Alistair then punches Patrick again, causing him to fall to the ground. He then gets on top of him, punching him repeatedly. And quote, "Who's the street rat now?" And quote, Alistair yelled as he punches Patrick repeatedly. The standing guy takes a swing at Veronica, dodges the punch by ducking it. She then performs a uppercut on him with her right fist, then she punches him with her left fist. The guy Veronica hit with her lunch tray tries to get up from the ground. Veronica then performs a axe kick, hitting his back, which causes him to hit the ground again. The standing guy grabs a hold of Veronica. She breaks free, then punches him across his face. She then grabbed a hold of him and threw him at the guy laying on the ground. As Alistair continues to punch Patrick, he is suddenly stopped by a guy who looks a little older than him. And quote, "Alistair, that's enough," and quote, he shouted. And quote, "What the hell, Mark?" and quote, asked Alistair. And quote, "Calm down," and quote, Mark said. And quote, "You're lucky I came when I did," and quote, Alistair stands up. And quote, "Whatever," and quote, he said in a annoyed tone. And quote, "Veronica, Alistair, you two better get your butts to Principal Rayner's office before security comes and drag you there," and quote, Mark ordered after Veronica and went to the principal office. Principal Rayner called Liz and Jesse. Now Jesse, Veronica, and Alistair are sitting next to each other, as they're sitting across from Principal Rayner. And quote, "Mr. Carter, I hope Veronica and Alistair understand that fighting of any kind will not be tolerated here," and quote, said Principal Rayner. And quote, "They do, and it won't happen again. I'll make sure of it," and quote, Jesse reassures her. And quote, "But what's their punishment?" and quote, "Since Veronica and Alistair are new here and Patrick and his friends' wounds aren't that bad, I'll let him off with a warning," and quote, "Thank you, Principal Rayner. I won't cause trouble again," and quote, Veronica said. And quote, "I'll try to stay clear of trouble," and quote, Alistair said reluctantly. And quote, "Good," and quote. Principal Rayner said the three of them then left Principal Rayner's office. The second they left, Principal Rayner got on her phone and started texting. And quote, "Everyone meet at the headquarters. It's an emergency," and quote. Principal Rayner texted as Jesse, Veronica, and Alistair left the Principal Rayner office. They entered a hallway. And quote, "What the hell were you two thinking?" and quote, asked Jesse. And quote, "He was talking smack about Dad, and he was calling Alistair a street rat," and quote. Veronica said angrily. And quote, "Yeah, so we had to give him and give his friends a good old-fashioned San Heights hello," and quote, said Alistair. And quote, "We're not in San Heights anymore. You two can't go around picking fights with people. Do you two have any idea how mad and embarrassed Liz is? She and I moved you two out here for a better life than the one in San Heights, and this is how you two show your gratitude," and quote. Jessica asked both Alistair and Veronica looks remorseful. And quote, "You're right. I'm sorry," and quote. Veronica said Alistair sighed. And quote, "I'm sorry too," and quote. Jessie sighed. And quote, "You know, you two are so like Nathan," and quote. He was right. In many ways Nathan, Veronica, and Alistair were one in the same. They both would have gotten into fights with guys like Patrick and his friends. And quote. Come on, let's go to the repair shop, so you can help me unpack. But Liz is going to pissed when she gets home. And quote. Later that night, a police car drives up to a mansion. The car then parks at the front. Michael gets out of the car and walks up to the front door. He enters the mansion and locks the door behind him. Michael then entered the den. There he saw a mysterious man standing at the fireplace, and 3 other men are spread out in the den. Principal Pamela Rayner is also there sitting on the couch. And quote. Sorry, I'm late. Traffic was hell. And quote. Michael said and quote. It's okay Michael. And quote. The mysterious man said. And quote. We were just about to get started. Pamela, how is the situation with the children of the Liberty Crusaders? And quote. And quote. Good. Most of them are separate for now, but they might be grouping together. I think we should consider bringing our children into this. And quote. Pamela said and quote. Said the woman who doesn't have kids. And quote. One of the men said. And quote. What is that supposed to mean even? And quote. Asked Pamela and quote. I'm saying we already talked about this. We agreed for our children to stay out of this. Aaron, Hank, what do you guys think? And quote. Even retorted and quote. My son Patrick lacks the drive and passion for this kind of life, and my other son Caleb is just too weak. And quote. Aaron said and quote. And my son Jamie is too sensitive for this kind of life, but that'll change soon when I get him back. And quote. Hank said happily, even shake his head disapprovingly. And quote. And we already know where you stand on the matter, Michael. And quote. Michael chuckled. And quote. You want to know the funny part? And quote. He asked. And quote. Night Reaper's wife is my new partner. What a chance of luck. That's my arch-nemesis's wife is now my partner. Right Akuri? And quote. The mysterious man turns around. And quote. It was on purpose Michael. We needed some way to spy on the Campbell family. And quote. Akuri explained. And quote. We'll begin our attack when the Dark Sorceress get in town, that way no members of the Liberty Crusaders could be left alive. And quote. And quote. What about Shadow Avenger? Has he made any advancement in the extraordinary formula? And quote. Asked Hank and quote. He has, Shadow said. The formula is ready for human trials. And quote. Akuri explained. And quote. Pamela, I expect you'll find a candidate at the school. And quote. And quote. I can think of a few people. And quote. She said loud noises and banging could be heard coming from below them. Aaron sighed. And quote. Is it another full moon again? Why don't we get rid of him? And quote. He asked and quote. Because he'll be very important to destroying the Liberty Crusaders. And quote. Akuri explained. And quote. Besides, they can't stand a chance against the Injustice Crusaders. And quote. He said with a wicked smile.